Hi everyone, welcome to the Rasa Chennai Community Chapter. And first of all, I would like to thank all of you for deciding to attend this amidst such an unprecedented crisis. I feel really happy that we are trying to still learn and use this situation to grow and learn in technology. Today we have two sessions. One would be by our friend and evangelist Emma Wightman from Rasa, and she'll be explaining us how Rasa will be helping us in our open community work and how to develop chatbots using Rasa as a framework and what Rasa offers us as a community. And followed by a session by me on Chatbots 101, which will be a sneak peek and introduction into the world of virtual assistants. Welcome, Emma, and thanks for joining at such a short notice.
No, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here as well. So thanks a lot for organizing this, Vishnu, and also inviting me to speak. So yeah, thanks a lot, Vishnu, for kicking this off. And I'm super excited that we can actually start a community chapter in Chennai. I know that it's also a lot to organize. Appreciate the time as well to put this together and have this opportunity as well to connect with remotely with other conversational AI enthusiasts in Chennai. So yeah, as I said, I'm Emma. I'm the community manager at Rasa, and I wanted to share a little introduction to Rasa and our community leaders local to India, and also just generally share a really warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the whole Rasa team. And maybe I'm also just a bit curious in case you guys in the chat could let us know if you're also from Chennai or if you're from other places. I know that it's also a really great perk that everyone can also tune in from other areas. So maybe a little insight into Rasa. I would just like to cover quickly a mission, and our mission at Rasa is to empower all makers to create AI assistants that work for everyone. And through that, we strive for that pretty much through obviously championing open source tools and nurturing a community of makers, and also shipping applied research to solve real problems. And that also goes with a lot of community involvement, and I think we'll also be sharing a bit more about that in future meetups as well. So I'm really pleased to say our community is growing really quickly. We have over 9,000 forum members and 400 contributors, and so it's nice to also welcome you into that that whole community. And I think it also is so nice to see that it's a global thing, and that really reflects that that open source tools can really be used also all around the world. And yeah, just to also give a little background about what Rasa is. So it's an open source framework built in Python, and it's consisting of two components. So the first one, NLU, is pretty much so devs can use to build machine learning models that can be used to enable assistants to understand what the user means in terms of intent. So overall intention of the user input, and then those entities. So important details that an assistant should extract and use to decide how to respond. And the next part is Rasa Core, so a machine learning based dialogue system which uses machine learning and real conversational data to learn patterns on how people communicate with each other, and use that knowledge to predict how a user will respond at a specific point in the conversation as well. So and why do developers love Rasa today? So definitely it's completely open source and free. You're completely flexible on how you run, and it can also be run locally on the cloud, and it's completely customizable, so you can also see what's under the hood. You can see, you can change the models, and you can of course add your own. And since you can also see under the hood, you can also see all of the code, and meaning anyone can pretty much learn about machine learning behind Rasa as well, because you can see everything that's going on behind there. And so speaking a little bit more about learning for yourself and the kind of things, I'd love to kind of highlight some of the resources and the opportunities that are available to you in the Rasa community. So first off, over the last 2 months here, you can see we've uploaded over, I think it's 20 videos on our YouTube channel focused on providing free educational material and tutorials and guides. And we have some really great series running on our YouTube channel, such as the Rasa Masterclass. It's presented by a head of developer relations, Justina, and she covers the entire process of developing a contextual AI assistant from just an idea all the way to developing an assistant in production. And also you can see here an NLP for developers. This is also where our senior developer advocate Rachel explains what a specific NLP tool is, how it works, and when you should consider using it in your own work, and some of the common errors that you also might run into. And lastly, the algorithm whiteboard. It's also a series that research advocate Vincent here at Rasa also created as a place that developers can kind of learn and the ideas behind algorithms, and also learn about some of our research results through a really cool kind of cartoon style and whiteboard style of teaching as well, which is really, really neat. Definitely check those out. And in addition to this, if you're interested in becoming an officially certified Rasa developer, you can also level up your knowledge and join our Rasa certification workshops, where we cover everything you need to build your own complete contextual assistant. And it doesn't just stop there, for sure not. You can also check out some really awesome guides and tutorials shared by our community, like this blog by Subi Ghosh, one of our superheroes. Yeah, so awesome. So much tutorials and guides, and so much great work out there from our community that they've shared. And so to ensure that we also recognize all of those incredible contributions, and that we are also running this Rasa contributor program. And so through that you can get great swag, use the Slack group. We have spotlight interviews and sneak previews, and there's a lot of more also more to this. But basically through this program, it's our goal to also kind of break down some of the barriers to becoming an open source machine learning contributor. And so we made it as straightforward as possible for you to enter into the program and start your own journey. And so maybe one little example of the kind of simpler contribution, to get your journey started, is a PR here made by Nicholas, a co-founder of Alpaca, and he gave this. He made a PR, and this PR was merged to our code base, and Nicholas basically just fixed a small typo in our documentation, which helped fix a bug that existed, and when sending a custom JSON message through Twilio. And so it was a very, very simple fix, but still very, very highly appreciated, because every contribution matters. It all takes time, and so I think this is also just a really nice example of how to enter and start your journey. And yeah, it doesn't just end with code. So we are also very grateful to see contributions taking other forms, such as video series and guides, and hosting virtual meetups like this one, and helping fellow community members on the forum. And if you want to go further with your journey, I thought it would be nice also to kind of talk about how you can level up in the program, and what better way to really explain that is to show obviously our Rasa heroes, and introduce you to some of them as well, who are making consistently high quality contributions to Rasa, like Yogesh Kulkarni, who's a community member since 2018 and has been giving talks and organizing workshops to support other developers to use and understand our infrastructure. And Jitesh, who is also recently become a Rasa hero and has been a complete avid helper on our community forum since also 2018, and has created some really amazing projects and tutorials on YouTube, Digital Breathe, his channel, with the goal of answering some of the most important and frequently asked questions on our forum as well. And yeah, and I also am really so proud to introduce some of our superheroes as well, who are running the Rasa community in their local area and beyond, such as Samia, who leads a community chapter in Bangalore, and Yogesh, who is running numerous workshops on how to build Rasa Chatbot, and he's really running an online community initiative focused on open source developer education. It's really, really awesome. It's called Co-Learning Lounge, so definitely check that out too. And I think some of you may even know about Vivani Ravi as well today, that have joined, and she also joined in 2018, and is very, very passionate advocate for open source and women in tech. So if you're from those cities or have any friends who are interested in open source and bot building, please let them know. This is also great people to contact, really great community champions as well. And I just wanted to, on a final note of everything to wrap it up, I just wanted to say, and complementary to our contributor program, we launched the Rasa Contributor Project Board. We want to make sure it's easier for people to come up with ideas and things to contribute and collaborate with other developers on. I know it can be very difficult sometimes to know like where to start. You know, the project can be quite huge. There's a lot going on, so it's designed also to help to support that. And where then we also kind of collect open code issues, which we are looking for support on. They are labeled small code adjustments or bug fixes to more complex issues, so you can pair them up with your experience level. And if you like to write or also share some ideas on what, you know, good topics for blogs or meetup chapters, you can pretty much also check this board, because we also add ideas for those, or best places maybe to start a meetup chapter. So there's quite a few ideas on there. And if you're a complete beginner, I think it's highlighted here in the middle. If you're a complete beginner to open source code contributions, you've never done a code contribution before, we also started an initiative, the NLU Training Data Repository. So it can also be found through their project board. And we started this initiative to collect training data for everyone to be able to use. So if you would like to practice making a pull request, you can try this out by donating a small intent or a small amount of code, to practice your pull request skills. And so, maybe if you're the first one to also donate your data there, this can also be used open source by the rest of the community. So open source for the win. And and so I just wanted to say, I hope this also highlights really clearly that we really value every single contribution, big or small. It doesn't matter. Everything counts if you're spending time on it. We really, really appreciate that at Rasa. And so to wrap up this, this 10-minute talk and introduction and welcome to the community, I just say, there's a lot of ways to get involved. If you're unsure where to start, feel free to get in touch with us. We'll be very, very happy to guide you along the way and give you any support that you need. So I hope that sheds a bit more light on the community and some of the initiatives we have going on, and resources available for you as well. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know more of you at this meetup, and I can't wait for Vishnu to talk to you. Thank you so much for organizing this, and thank you so much, Vishnu, for giving me the opportunity to talk about Rasa and all the opportunities around.
Thanks a lot, Emma, for that wonderful introduction of Rasa and explaining us and encouraging us how to go about using Rasa. And so let us start now with the session on Chatbots 101. Yeah, so once again, Vanakkam Chennai, and hi everyone for attending this, and very hearty welcome to the Rasa Community Chennai chapter. And thank you so much for taking your time. And one thing that this crisis makes us understand, according to me, is that we have to take care of others more, and we also have to take care of our nature. And another beautiful thing that I found out during this quarantine or the lockdown period is that we are still ready to grow, we are still ready to learn, and technology is paving the way for us to rescue us, to help us, and to assist us in times of our need. And there's nothing better than chatbots in that field. And one quick update here, any questions or any queries, please post your queries under Q&A session, and you can also raise your hand. We'll be attending to it at the end of the presentation, so that the presentation flow doesn't get disturbed. So yeah, as I was saying, the nature is teaching a lot of things to us. We have to learn a lot of things. But what about technology? Technology also has a lot of things to teach us, to help us. So let's go deep dive into that. So today's discussion would be about Chatbots 101. This will be a quick sneak peek and an introduction into the world of virtual assistants or chatbots. And you'll know why we are stressing on chatbots so much in this quarantine and lockdown period very soon. Yeah. So before going into the world of virtual assistants, we must know what is the empowering field behind it, or what is the backbone of chatbots or virtual assistants, which is nothing but the conversational AI as we see in the slide here. So before going into conversation AI also, let's just understand what AI is. So AI or artificial intelligence as we know it only through our exposure through movies or novels or stuff like that, where everything has been, projected in a certain way that, something is being misused, or when a hero is there, he's fighting against artificial intelligence to stop it and save the entire world. That's fine. There is misuse of anything in this world, but what our movies have not concentrated on, I feel, is that the importance and the help it provides to humans as a way to get through our limitations and our insecurities as well. So coming back to what is AI. So just as we discussed now, AI or artificial intelligence is nothing but helping a human to overcome its limitations, assisting them, and making things easier for them. So obviously, it should mimic human intelligence. And as a human learns from his experiences on a daily basis, the AI should also be able to learn from its experience. Because what is the use if it's just saying what it is? It should be able to learn from experiences as we teach it. And since it's a machine, it's our responsibility and onus is on us to teach it. But also, it should have the onus to learn as it goes through, as it grows. And it also needs to adapt to new information and new technologies. Because once we teach the AI and it just performs according to it, then there is no use or assisting a human in that case. So it must be able to adapt itself to new information or new surroundings in real time maybe, and also perform human-like activities at the end of the day. So what AI is nothing but we can imagine something as of a baby, a small 5-year-old baby or a 4-year-old baby. Just imagine that case where a baby mimics his or her parents, his friends, his or her friends, his or her surroundings, and learns everything on a daily basis from alphabets to complex things. Starting with alphabets, it learns on a daily basis to complex things and adapts to new information, new situations in school or college or office or any environment, and at the end of the day performs activities that it has learned from it and the experience that he or she has got from it. So yeah, it's nothing but emoting human way of working in a machine so that we can save our time and work. So now that we know about AI, let's just come back to conversational AI. So what conversational AI is nothing but what we have discussed now, enabling this AI in conversation. Now, why do we need it? Because one thing we find in a machine and a human, the main difference is the connect. The emotional connect is one thing, and the ability to be able to converse anything in a structured and completing a flow. So that is what we can achieve in conversation AI when we enable AI in a conversation. And why it's called natural language is that we don't follow any what do you say formulas or calculations while we talk. We just talk, we just converse, we just open ourselves. So when an AI is able to simulate such things, we call it conversation AI. Now, how do we do this? We have explained what conversation AI is, what AI is, but we also need some technologies or methods to do this. So this can be done using three frameworks. One will be NLP, which is natural language processing, and the next step will be NLU, which is natural language understanding, and the next step will be NLG, which is natural language generation. We'll be seeing more in detail about this in a minute. So one of the majorly used applications of conversational AI is in chatbots or virtual assistants. So finally, we have come to what we have to discuss. So now we are going to discuss about chatbots and virtual assistants. So what are the underlying process for a chatbot or a virtual assistant to work like a human and to help a human? We have all these underlying processes like what the user wants. It's not relevant if we reply something that the user doesn't want. So whatever the chatbots or a bot replies must be relevant to what the user is asking. So that's the first thing we need to know or confirm. Then next comes the language. Since we are conversing in a particular language, if the computer or the AI starts conversing with us in a different language or in its own language, then there is no use of a chatbot. So it must understand our language and adapt to it and understand and reply accordingly. And also, when we converse, what we do? We converse in a specific way. For example, somebody is asking what is the weather to us. What are we able to reply? We are not able to reply anything, right? We'll be asking whether in Chennai or Coimbatore or Mumbai or Delhi. We'll be asking the place, or we'll be asking when do you want to know? Yesterday's weather or today's weather or day after tomorrow's weather, tomorrow's weather. So those specifics should also be captured so that the relevant response is being delivered. And what is the kind of request? By kind of request, we mean if the user is asking just for information or if the user wants to solve a problem. If the user wants to solve a problem and if you just give information, he'll just be irritated by you. So we need to know the kind of request also. And the most important thing which I feel is we need to understand if the user is happy or upset. For example, if the user wants to complain and if he say very good has happened with you, then how will he feel? So we need to understand what sentiment he is experiencing, whether it's happy or upset. It is also called sentiment analysis in technical terms. We need to understand that aspect. And have we interacted before? So this becomes a major part when we would like to have a human-like conversation, because when we talk to our friends or a relative, we talk, yeah, that day we talked about this, no, let's continue this today. What did you do that day? So we take a context and then we talk. So that context should also be applied in chatbot so that it feels as human as possible and it feels as less machine as possible. So yeah, after so much of theory, you guys may be exhausted and say, what she is blabbering something, saying so much of theory. What is the use of this? Why are we doing this? Is anybody working for it or not? You may have all such doubts. Well, I think the people are using it because I can see a lot of statistics, and being in the field also, I can vouch for it. So just let's see a number of few statistics which will prove that chatbots is also the present and also the future of what we have. So just seeing at the number of chats fielded by chatbots per month, which means the number of chats that are happening through chatbots every month is a huge whopping number of 25,530. What does that say? That says chatbot is the present. We are living in a chatbot era. And let's take a business point of view. Now you'll be saying she's talking like an individual, like a user perspective. Now let's come to the business perspective also, because without any business value, we may not be able to incorporate anything to at a wide range. So in the business, in case of business value, 90% of complaints have been resolved faster with the help of bots. Now, what does this lead to? In case of business value, the most important aspect of any business to succeed is customer satisfaction and customer experience. Now, what if we all of us have called a call center and IVR any even at least one time in our life, where we would have been said press one for Hindi, press two for English, and something like that, and we'll be kept on hold for a long time. Now, how does that feel? And especially in times of lockdown like this, when we feel something, when we face certain issues which we feel should be solved immediately, what does that say? In that case, we should be able to solve it as fast as possible. Now, see this 90% number. If we use chatbots in case of a customer executive or in case of call center, now this has two advantages. One is the faster resolution, and other is that the customer agent is devoid of certain pressure and lot of work. It assists him in reducing his work also. Now let's go to the future. Now what has been projected for 2020 is that 276% of chatbots are being used. Now this is already for 2020. Now imagine what the future could hold. And also people are implementing or looking to implement chatbots by 2020. So we have already reached 80% and 276%. So there's more to go on this side. And also projected business savings due to chatbots, another business angle, that comes to a whopping 90% again. And you would say this is you are saying in an organization perspective. What about us, people like us, our generation? Now, if you see millennials, they are reporting positive bot experiences. Now, what does that mean? Just having a chatbot and just putting it on a website or mobile app is not enough. You must have a positive experience so that next time also you visit it. So, in the business point of perspective, it is user retention, and in our perspective, it is a very pleasant experience and resolving of issues in a faster time. So, these are just some of the statistics. If you go through the Google and certain surveys, we'll get a lot more. So now we have talked about what a conversation AI is and what a chatbot is. Now let's see the type of chatbot so that we can use it according to our needs. First comes the support chatbot, which has been used a lot, which has many users, and it has been used a lot of times because this comes under customer satisfaction perspective. So this is used to solve a specific problem. Now, to solve a problem, you will need details of a person. For example, let's take an insurance bot. You need to know his policy number. You need to know where he's from. You need to know what plan he has taken. So all those come under the contextual information, which we had talked before, like previously what he had taken, now what he wants to take, stuff like that. So it should have a contextual information and also multi-turn conversation. By multi-turn conversation, what we mean is when a user is asking for premium due, let's take the same example of insurance bot. When the user is asking for premium due, his premium due details should be shown. And when he asks for nearest branch details to pay his premium, that also should be shown. And when he comes back again and asks another question called fund value, that also should be shown. So there are a lot of terms in this, and these terms should also be handled. So this is one of the difficult parts of a chatbot, which we can see in support chatbot. And next comes the skill chatbot. This many would have known. This uses actually a wake word. Usually, would how many of you have Alexa at home? I'm not sure. So Alexa and Google Assistant, Siri, all those come under skills chatbot, where you have a wake word called Alexa, do something, Siri, do something. So they just follow a command and do it. So in this case, no context or no turns, nothing is required. This is the simplest of all the bots to do. And next comes the assistant chatbot. Just like I said, if the user just wants to know the information, you can just provide the information and you can help the user. So those come under assistant chatbot, just assisting the user. And then comes the transactional bot. In case of transactional bot, it just performs a transaction for you, like booking a ticket or placing order. Chennai people would know Jazz Cinemas. Jazz Cinemas has a chatbot which books tickets for you. So those are transactional bots. Informational bots are nothing but research assistants. So they are used for research practices where information is extracted from people or a website or ebook, and thesis is done on that and research is done on that. And conversational bots is not a separate category. All these bots come under conversational bots because every chatbot has maybe the level of conversational ability is different, but conversational ability is required for every bot to assist a human accordingly. So now, after all these things, what if we want to create our own chatbot? We would have got some interest after listening to all these things with the projections of future and the present. So we should know what's happening under the hood so that we can create our own chatbot. So remember, we had already seen that there are three components in conversational AI. One is NLU, and the other is NLP, and the other is NLG. So let's see the first component here, which is NLU, which is nothing but natural language understanding. So the word understanding itself makes it clear that we need to understand the natural language of the human who is interacting with the bot. So we need to understand what the user wants and why he or she wants, and what is the exact expectation of the user when he asks the query. So this would be at a high level. Let's take an example to understand it in a better way. So let's take the query, can I play cricket today? So this, whatever the understanding part of the natural language, can be easily, for easy understanding, can be split into two. One is the intent and other one is the entity. So intent will be nothing but the user intention. What is the user wanting to know? Here the user wants to play cricket. So that will be the intention or the intent. Another thing is the entities. Remember, we had discussed some specific things like today, tomorrow, place, or people. Those come under entities. And entities can again be classified into two. One will be the specificity, which we had already discussed. In this query, it will be today because he wants to play today, not tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So that is very specific. He wants to play today. That is one entity. And the other thing is that we have something called dependency, where we need to provide the correct recommendation to the user. For example, if it's raining outside or if it's going to rain outside, can we recommend a person to play cricket? Would that not be very bad and embarrassing for the bot? So to predict it correctly, the bot should also know what is the weather outside so that it can predict accordingly. So this is the natural language understanding component that comes first. So now we have seen that computer needs to understand, or AI needs to understand what the human says, which is NLU. But to perform NLU itself, we need a processing component. That is, the computer cannot understand, or the AI cannot understand what the user is saying as it is in the same way. It works on zeros and ones. All machines work on zeros and ones. So it's our responsibility to convert whatever the text that the user is saying into computer understandable language, or in simple words, processing. So this NLP, which is called natural language processing, involves the processing of the user text or converting a text into structured data and a language which computer can understand. Now, how it is done? Just let's go into a brief. I'll not be training you with a lot of details. So first thing is that we have a sentence. Let's take the same example. Can I play cricket today? And just can I play cricket today is a very big unit, right? First, we'll split it into smaller units. So the easiest way to do it would be with a space. Can space, I space, play space. We generally give space between words to make sentence understandable. So using that space, we can split it into smaller units, which is called tokenization. and the smaller units of words are called tokens. Now, once we split these into tokens, it's still not understandable. It still needs to be processed. So what we do is, next we do stop words removal. What does stop word removal mean? Stop word are nothing but certain words which don't make any sense as to give the response to the user. For example, in the case of can I play cricket, playing cricket and cricket, the game that is being played, and today or tomorrow is the important part. Can I is not an important. Even if can I is not there, we can still able to understand that the user wants to play cricket. So the can I are the stop words which are removed. This is the second step. Now we are left with playing cricket today. Now next step is we go to stemming. In case of stemming, what we do is there are different forms for play itself. There's a verb form of play that is playing, and there is past tense of play that is played. So all these also don't make sense because whether it is played or playing, the root what we expect is to play. So stemming will remove the ing part and retain the play part. So now we have play cricket today. And coming to lemmatization. Lemmatization is where you convert the complex words into simple words. This doesn't apply here. For example, in case a word called sophisticated is there, the simplest form of sophistication would be complex. Complex is sophistication is an extended part of the simple word complex. So lemmatization would convert the word sophistication into complex. That is lemmatization. Next, we come to word embedding. So word embedding is where now we have converted into small chunks, we have removed stop words, we have done stemming, lemmatization. We still have it as words only. Still the computer doesn't understand. So we have to convert it into zeros and ones, which the computer can understand. That is called word embedding. And after we convert it to zeros and ones, what if the user asks, can I, instead of can I play cricket today, do I need to play cricket today? If another variation of the same intent is asked, what are we going to do? So we are going to use word embedding there and create a topic model. That is, this is the same topic of playing cricket. Whether do I need to play today's ask or can I play today's ask? The topic is playing cricket only. So we need to do topic modeling so that different variations can be handled. So this is the NLP part. So the AI has now understood what the human says, it has processed what the human says, and it should respond to the human now. Then comes the component of NLG, which is natural language generation. So understanding is done, processing is done, now generation of response is happening. This is the reverse of what NLP does, that is the structured data is converted to human readable language so that we can understand the response. This can be done in two ways. One is we can produce scripts or templates or rules which can produce the text response or image response or any response that we need. And another thing is the dynamic sentence or document generation. This is the ongoing research field and very exciting field of NLG right now. I would suggest you to go very deep into this. It's very exciting, and once you go down that path, you will not be able to come out of it. So it's so exciting, that path is. Now we know what happens in contextual AI. Conversational AI. Now we need to, what if we want to create a bot ourselves? There are also frameworks or tools available in the industry to create our own bot. So we'll be looking at some of them. One of the popular frameworks that is used being today is Dialogflow, which is Google powered. It's an NLU framework. Both text and voice-based conversation agents can be done in Dialogflow using different languages. This has both pros and cons like every other product would have. So the pros would be it's a user friendly because it has a UI. You need not code anything. It has a UI and it has an integrated code editor as well. For example, if you want to connect to any API or any external database, you have an integrated code editor and you can use that. And another thing is that it has SDK, software development kit, which can be used to connect to websites or mobile applications or stuff like that. And another thing is that what we mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, the sentiment analysis of user queries can be done here using Dialogflow. And other is the integration support. Integration support is where you can connect from Dialogflow directly to Facebook or Twilio or certain things like that. And we have also the cons of Dialogflow, which is one of the basic concerns surrounding the industry, data industry right now is privacy. Because our organization information, our individual information are being passed to others without our consent or information. So that is happening in Dialogflow, which is a very, very big issue in case of Dialogflow, though it has a lot of pros. And another thing is that these, whatever we had talked about, the NLU, NLP, and NLG, all these combined together form an AI model. So those models we need to prepare, and it has some parameters which can be tuned so that we can adjust the accuracy of the response that is sent to the user. So these adjustments or the customization of ML models is not at all possible in Dialogflow. Why? Because it is a black box. It has certain configuration tuning, but that doesn't help much when we scale up our bot or when we need more things to be added to our bot. Now this is one of the latest developments that we have, that is Blender. I guess it just released a week ago. It was released by Facebook and it is making a lot of noise in the market now. But one thing is that it uses deep learning models with extensive data. Now what is deep learning model is that deep learning models use a network of neural networks. Now what is neural network? Neural network is nothing but a network of how our neurons in our brain behave. Because our neurons are very uh, exciting and fantastic in how it works, that people are trying to still find out how it works. And some of the features have been taken to the machine perspective and applied to neural networks. And some of the advancements to that, those networks are deep learning. So you would have heard about TensorFlow, Keras, and stuff like that. So those are deep learning models. Those are being used in this Blender, and it's an open domain chatbot. Means you can do it for any domain. It's not domain restricted. So the pros are that whatever the deep learning models are there, it is pre-trained. Now, what is pre-trained? Pre-trained means in the beginning we discussed that we need to teach the AI how to behave, right? Like a baby. So that is called as pre-training. Whatever the blender that have released has been already pre-trained, they have teached enough. So when it comes to us, we can use it with lesser fine-tuning and lesser configuration settings. And the second one is that it can handle multi-turn dialogue because it is using so many networks of neural networks, which is very powerful. So it can be more human and engaging. And the cons is that this blender has been prepared using Reddit data. So Reddit is a social networking site, and social media, as everybody knows, has its own bias. There are a lot of opinions. There is a lot of toxic words being used. Those are not being removed. They are just being retained and trained. So those things we cannot avoid. For example, if we say something to if the user says something irritating to the bot, it may reply with a toxic word. That's not good for a bot to do. And other con is that it can make up facts. Because as I said, social media has its own opinions, its own facts. It may be fake news, it may be real news. We are not sure about that. So those are the cons of Blender. Now coming back to Lewis. Lewis is something which is powered by Bing and Cortana from Microsoft. And these are also the same way, like the deep learning models we just saw. These are also pre-existing and pre-built models. So what is the problem with this is that it converts human language into commands and parameters. So if you want to do any change or any tuning or any customization, you need to do code changes. You need to know the code thoroughly to do code changes. Also, it does something called line by line prediction. And if you do line by line prediction, there are two problems in that. One is that you have latency in prediction. You'll be doing line by line and latency will be more. And the other thing is that one line to another line, the connection between one line to another line is missing. That's a big, big problem here. So another thing is this is also a black box where you don't have any control on the ML model that we spoke before. Now coming to Rasa. So you people may be asking what's so special in Rasa that you have covered it and you have started a chapter, stuff like that. So Rasa is very special. Why? Because one is it is open source, and another one is that it's supplemented by a lot of benchmark algorithms like Spacey, TensorFlow, Convert, just to name a few. There are other algorithms as well. And another main advantage is that the NLU and the dialog management part can be used separately or combinedly. When you say Lewis or Dialogflow or Blender, you need to use the entire framework to achieve the result. But here we can use either understanding alone and we can generate our own responses, or we can use both understanding and code to generate responses as well. And another thing is that very big and major concern solved by Rasa is data privacy. You can build, deploy, and host internally without any fear of outside party or third party accessing your data. And another one is that it's modular and extensible. Again, you can use any model that you want. You can do plug and play of models. You can extend a model. You can do hyperparameter tuning, which is nothing but training in a different way, just like how we train our model by increasing or decreasing the parameters. We can do that. And another major problem that Rasa has solved is customizing the ML model and parameters, which was not available in Dialogflow or Lewis or Blender. And another thing that Rasa gives is that it can you can use Rasa to operate deep learning models, which uses TensorFlow, GPU, TPU, stuff like that. GPU is nothing but graphic processing unit, which is a higher memory version of CPU, and TPU is a higher memory version of GPU. So those hardwares are not available for us in the market. Not available in the sense not affordable. Google Colab still provides it certain limits for free, but we cannot use it for extensive training. Only the organization can make use of it. The individuals cannot make use of it. And Rasa gives you the opportunity to scale it down and use it, and you can also use the normal models also. And other thing is that the only con that I found in Rasa is it's a very transformative framework. They keep on listening to the advice of the developer community, and they keep on changing it. You need to be very quick, otherwise you'll miss out a lot of things, you'll miss out a lot of improvements. And one more thing about Rasa I would like to say is you can also learn along when you try to incorporate it into a development framework, because you have the ML model available, everything is exposed. You can learn along, you can contribute, you can go along with Rasa, and you can do stuff. So yeah, these are the references that I have used for each framework that I have explained here. You can go through this to know in a more detailed way about everything. And thank you for the time, guys. And this is just the beginning of a journey. We'll have a lot of more things like this to do. And hopefully, all of you will be able to join me. We'll be collaborating, we'll be learning, and we'll be doing everything collectively. Just like all of us are together in this lockdown and quarantine, we'll be together in learning as well. And I can be reached at this LinkedIn site. If you scan the QR code, you'll get my LinkedIn profile. You can ping me for any queries or doubts, or you can connect with me for further. If you want to share your thoughts, or we can collaborate on anything, stuff like that. And I would like to end this by saying that thank you, Rasa, for giving us the opportunity to contribute and grow along with you, and to also give us a lot of stuff to learn along the way, and a lot of customizations. And the way Emma mentioned, nothing is small or nothing is big. Even I started my first contribution with Rasa with just a typo change, and now I'm able to grasp little by little a lot of things. So that encouragement is very rare. As an industry person, I can say that there are very less people who say nothing is small and nothing is big. Just start it and just go on doing it. You'll be learning more. So thank you, Rasa, and thank you, Emma, for taking the time for coming here and letting us know what Rasa is and how we can grow with it. Yeah, so any questions, we can have the session now.
Okay, so thank you so much for your presentation. I'm just making sure that everyone has the opportunity maybe to talk. So just resetting the, yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, sure. So Richard, I'll be expected a small demo. Yeah, we'll be, thanks for the heads up, we'll be doing.
Hey, hi, I have a query.
Yeah, Arun.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Arun. How are you doing?
Yep, hi. Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing good as well. Yeah, please go ahead.
Prior to this, meeting, I tried to learn Rasa for 2-3 times, but I couldn't find any documentation, very proper documentation anywhere, so that I was not able to start with Rasa.
Okay.
So is there a forum can a newbie can make his hands dirty with Rasa?
Sure, Arun. I'll be sharing the link in the discussion forum. Are you on the Meetup? Are you a member of the Meetup group?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so I'll be sharing there with you the starting the guide to start with Rasa.
Okay, that's
Don't
perfect.
worry, it's very easy. Just some patience is needed, and everything
Okay.
gets set. I'm saying this as a mechanical engineer because I've done my graduation in mechanical engineering, and I was very quickly adapted to Rasa. So I hope you will be able to do as well, and all the best for the journey.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything. And as I said earlier as well, feel free to reach out to us directly. Always happy to support you and guide you along the way as well.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Hi Vishnu, Priya. I'm Richard here.
Hi, Richard. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay. So, do we need a separate server or any installation for Rasa to run if you want to have our own, and what kind of setup is required? Second thing is, I have a web-based application, so can I integrate that with the web applications?
Yes, Richard, you can integrate your web chat with Rasa. There is a demo available for that. I'll be sharing the link. And regarding the integration, there are also a lot of options for integrating it with WhatsApp, Alexa as well. And as Emma mentioned, there are a lot of videos on YouTube guiding you through that. And there are also a lot of blogs, and I'll also be sharing you on a daily basis in the meetup group regarding the blogs and the videos you can see to get started.
Okay. So to do a small demo or a small piece of code like a basic inquiry and getting the result like that, how much time it will take for me to learn and do?
Yeah. If you are actually when you install Rasa, you will get a pre-installed model and with responses and intents configured, and you can try testing that. And whatever the configurations that need to be used or the way to use Rasa will be already loaded into it. You just need to customize it according to your needs. So you can do it within half a day. Maximum it will take you half a day to get started and get ready with the initial part. But if you want to make it very efficient and go along with it, you need to give it to the users, and you need to grow on a daily basis.
Okay. So do you have a pre-configured or hosted Rasa services wherein we can log in and then try on our own on the web? Or I need to install in my desktop or server?
You need to install using pip install. You need to install it in your virtual environment in Python. And once it takes less than 5 minutes to install, and you can start testing your initial bot immediately. You'll be provided with a pre-configured mood bot, and you can start with it in an immediate way. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah, I guess session time has come to an end, so we can close it. In case of any other queries and doubts, you can always contact us to the discussion forum that we have in the meetup, so that even if not me, others can also collaborate and help you out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, also thank you so much as well for attending, and thank you so much, Vishnu, again for organizing the meetup. It's so nice to connect with you guys remotely and get to know a bit more about what's important to you guys also, and also share a bit more about Rasa, and hope to also talk to you again soon as well. So thanks a lot, Vishnu, and everyone.
Thanks, Emma, for all the support and guidance that you have provided, and thanks for coming on such a short notice. And thanks for all the attendees for deciding to attend this, and I hope you had to take away something from this. And if not, we can always collaborate on the discussion forums, on the meetup, or on the community forum as well.
Thanks, everyone. Ciao. Have a great day.
Have a great weekend. Have a great night. Hopefully, we'll be meeting very soon next time.
For sure. Ciao, guys.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for the wonderful session.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.